So, John, thanks for coming back in.
No problem, Barrett.
Really appreciate it. I know last time we spoke, we identified one really big need, and that was life insurance for you and Kate.
Yep.
So, there's a couple ways we can go about calculating the right number for you. First would be just general rule of thumb, 10 to 15 times income. Second would be what I call life needs analysis, and it's actually the one I typically recommend to clients. We'll walk through a bunch of numbers and it'll spit something out at the end, and we can address that at the end. And then the third is to use the software we have, but for your circumstance, I'd really recommend going through the life needs analysis. So how do you feel about that?
You're the pro. Let's
all
do
right.
it.
So when we go through all this, we're gonna write down a bunch of numbers. I need your phone. It's gonna spit out a number. We can hash it out at the end, but let's get through everything first, and then we'll talk about what we end up coming up with.
Sounds
First things first. What are you and Kate making these days? And I'm assuming she okayed you to talk for her, correct?
She did. Yes.
Gotcha. So John and Kate plus 8. What are we making?
Together or separate?
Separate.
So I'm making 75 and she makes about 65.
Okay. So in the event that one of y'all passes away, typically what we like to see as far as a family income goal is anywhere from 70 to 80% of what you're currently making, because if someone passes away, bills don't get cut in half, like electricity, all that.
Yeah. Sure.
You might see some variable expenses go down, but fixed stay the same. So what I typically recommend is 75%, split the difference. How do you feel about that?
I think we could live off $100,000. I think that's a good even number that would work for the two of us.
Okay, perfect. As far as other income, do we want to count on Social Security?
What are you gonna recommend? I think we're gonna get it, but
So I typically leave it out, and
Okay.
we'll just treat it as gravy, because you're very young and we're kind of far off from getting Social Security, even though you do get a survivor's benefit. I like to leave that out of this calculation.
okay. Why don't we just do 10,000?
Okay. We can, of course, have that in there. Bear with me one quick second.
Yep. Bless you.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that. So in the event that one of y'all passes away, the other one of you is going to bring this check to me and say, Barrett, I want this money to be able to support me for the foreseeable future. And in turn, I'm going to take that money, invest it, and what we reasonably want to have to be able to spin off of that is 5% of that money, which we'll be able to sustain indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about 5%?
Yeah, that sounds good. That's a conservative number.
Yeah, it really allows us to, one, keep up with inflation, and two, be able to support the surviving spouse. So. Sorry, bear with me.
No worries.
So as far as cash needs, typically what I recommend on final expenses is around $15,000 for funerals and whatnot. What are your thoughts on that? Are you trying to have a big blowout celebration of life? Or are you just trying to be cremated? So we can tailor that back.
Yeah, I think I think 10,000 is probably a good number for that.
Okay. And what about emergency funds? You guys have a savings built up at all?
Yeah, we do, but I think, it doesn't hurt to add a little bit more to that probably.
Okay.
So why don't we add like another 25,000 to?
Okay, gotcha. You guys have any kids?
We do. We
You
have
do?
2.
Oh, okay. How important is funding their education to you?
Very.
Very. And what have you done so far for that?
Yeah, at this point, if one of us were to pass away, there's not really much there.
Okay. So are we looking to go in-state or out-of-state?
In-state, if they want to go out of state, we can pull other funds together or have them take out loans or.
Gotcha.
something.
So what I typically recommend is $100,000 per child
Okay.
for in-state tuition. So you got 2 kiddos, adding in $200,000 for their educations, giving them $100,000 each is pretty substantial to go to a state school. If they're trying to go to TCU, they better be smart.
Yeah, no, 200,000 sounds good. That was kind of our goal in the first place.
Okay, perfect. What about a mortgage on the house?
Yes, the mortgage is about 150.
Okay, let's go ahead and knock that out. What about any other debt? Credit card, car notes, things of that nature?
We've got car payments, but if we passed away, we wouldn't keep 2 cars. I'd just sell it and pay it off.
Okay.
So I don't think, now we don't really have anything else out there. Mine goes from the bottom.
You cop.
I don't have the new
Okay.
new stack.
So any plans for a 3rd kiddo on the way?
Yeah, I probably have one more.
Very nice. How far out is that?
A couple years probably. Keep them all a couple years apart, kind of like we were.
So as far as income producing capital, liquid assets like investment accounts, cash reserves, things of that nature, what's out there and what would you be comfortable spending down in the event of unfortunate passing for either one of y'all?
No, I'm hoping that we get a number in place today that she doesn't have to
Okay.
dip in anything else.
What about existing life insurance through work maybe?
Yeah, we both have 250,000 through work.
Wow. Where do you guys work at? I want to work there.
She works at Walmart and I work at AT&T.
Nice. So once I totaled everything up, all factors considered, it looks like for you we need about $635,000 in total coverage, and for Kate it's about $435,000 in total coverage. How do we feel about those numbers? And let me preface that with, I know these numbers may look high, but it's my job to fit them in your budget. Just want to make sure we're really focusing in on the right number for y'all today. I'll make sure it works for you.
Okay. Yeah, those numbers don't sound too high. I just don't think that I'll need that for the rest of my life.
So we can run back through the numbers if you want and see what you want to cut out as far as cash needs, or if you want to tailor back Kate's or your living style.
No, I think like I said, I think those numbers sound all right now. I just don't think I don't want to pay for that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, and there's different layers we can take. We can put a small portion of permanent insurance that you will need for the rest of your life, and add in a term, but we'll go into that. What do you know about the 5 types of life insurance?
Nothing.